Hey besties, welcome to COCO Gossip, where we dive deep into the juiciest, most scandalous secrets of your favorite reality TV families. If you're anything like me, you're obsessed with uncovering the truth behind the smiles, the drama, and the perfectly posed family photos. And today, we are blowing the lid off a Sister Wives mystery that has been haunting fans for seasons, connecting dots you never even saw, and revealing a truth so shocking it will change how you see Cody and Robyn Brown forever. We're talking secret fights, absent wives, and a financial scandal that could rock the entire Brown family to its core. You thought you knew the story of Thanksgiving at the McMansion? Think again. A fan on Reddit, bless their bougie broke relatable hearts, dropped some Thanksgiving pics that sent shockwaves through the Sister Wives universe. These photos, supposedly from last season or the one before, show Cody proudly declaring, "This is the first Thanksgiving that Robyn and I are having with just our children at home." My chair is squeaking just thinking about the audacity. He made it sound like this was some monumental, never-before-seen event, right? But hello, Cody. You've always had dinner with Robyn and her kids. This annoys me every time because why is Thanksgiving dinner any different than every other dinner he's eaten with Robyn and their children? He acts like they've never had this opportunity before. And let's be real. He says, our children alone, not Robyn's children or Janelle's children or Christine's children. That distinction, my friends, is a massive red flag for the favoritism we've been seeing for years. But here's where the mystery really deepens, and your minds are about to be blown. While Cody was sitting there beaming with pride over his perfectly staged, expensive Royal Albert bone china and Waterford stemware dinner, seriously, this stuff is crazy expensive. My mom had that china, it's called Royal Albert Old Country Roses. Feel free to look up the prices. They are crazy. Where was Robyn? Did anyone else notice that Robyn was absent from Thanksgiving in season 19? Her plate was empty, her napkin nicely folded, untouched throughout the entire scene. She did a couch interview, sure, but she wasn't at the table. Fans observed that Robyn always sits in the same place at the table, but she just wasn't there. So, what happened? The official story, according to Robyn in her couch interview, was that she left Mykelti's house where she was helping with the babies because she needed to be home for Thanksgiving. But it seems she never actually made it home. The very next episode opens with a bombshell. Shortly before cameras arrived, Cody and Robyn had a heated exchange. Everyone, including Amanda Ray, the host of the YouTube channel we're pulling this tea from, thought that driveway scene was staged. But now the theory is, it was recreated, a scene that had way more behind it, way more to it behind the scenes than what TLC's version would show. Cody and Robyn fighting in a driveway, y'all. You're welcome for that tea. And right there, besties, is our first major hook. Now, if you're already feeling the tea boiling, go ahead and hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and join the COCO Gossip family so you never miss another explosive deep dive into the truth. Impress, like, and subscribe to this channel. Now let's connect this Thanksgiving charade to something even more disturbing. The persistent rumors and direct observations about Robyn's lavish lifestyle and the family's finances. How does Robyn live in an over $2 million estate, afford expensive artwork, jewelry, and a $60,000 doll collection, when her Sister Wives Closet business was never successful, and she allegedly doesn't have an outside job or even post on social media for partnerships? Fans took to Reddit to discuss accusations of Robyn transferring family money to her personal accounts. While there's no evidence of her personally stealing or embezzling, the consensus is that Cody was undeniably funneling money and investments to Robyn, or paying her credit card bills from the family account, treating it like his personal fund without needing anyone's approval. Janelle specifically stated she saw money meant for one purpose go for other things. Christine noticed Robyn always had nice things, and then Cody and Robyn would manipulate her, making her feel like a bad person for being jealous. Remember that heartbreaking moment when Meri admired one of the paintings Cody and Robyn bought? And Cody told Meri she could come over to the McMansion and look at the painting because it was for Robyn, not Meri? He was paying for something for his favorite queen and then rubbing it in another wife's face. This isn't just about lavish spending, it's about Cody's insidious control and blatant favoritism, which utterly destroyed the financial agreement the OG wives had to share resources. The finance rules changed when Robyn joined the family, with Cody shifting family resources to Robyn and explained it as protecting Robyn's estate. It wasn't about Robyn stealing, it was Cody, with his control and final decision-making power, using family money for Robyn's benefit. A UK-only scene revealed Janelle found Cody had completely cashed out the account without telling anyone. This wasn't just shady, it symbolized how Cody viewed the family pot as his and Robyn's, while the other wives were left struggling to make ends meet. This spending spree, with paintings, jewelry, and sculptures, even gold and silver bullion, a great way to hide money, happened when Cody saw the writing on the wall and was cleaning out the account. This financial favoritism isn't just speculation, it's a pattern that aligns with Cody's long-standing behavior of prioritizing Robyn above all else. From the very beginning, Cody treated Robyn differently. He was Twitter-pated with her, showering her with gifts and excitement that was different from how he spoke about his other wives. He broke family rules, like kissing her before marriage, and casually revealed it in a producer interview, leaving Christine in tears and Meri shut down. He'd come late for other wives' scheduled nights, use phrases like, "Robyn would have handled this better," and openly praise Robyn in confessionals for making him feel seen while subtly suggesting the others had failed him. This wasn't favoritism. It broke something sacred, the rules, the relationships, the heart of a big plural family, and it broke the kids too. Speaking of broken relationships and neglected children, let's pivot to a deeply disturbing aspect that Christine Brown Woolley is bravely tackling in her upcoming book, and that is Meri Brown's alleged abuse of Christine's children. This is not just vague insinuation. This is chillingly specific, with several of the children themselves speaking out. Christine wants nothing to do with Meri, specifically because of the way Meri treated her children. Christine briefly touched on this in Becoming Sister Wives, where she spoke about Meri getting really aggressive with a couple of her kids, making comments or doing things that crossed a line. Christine felt she couldn't trust Meri anymore and explicitly wanted Meri to stop parenting her kids and stay out of there, period. She even said it took a long time to even think about rebuilding a relationship with Meri, and she never really did. But it's not just Christine's word. Some of the kids themselves have alluded to the fact that things happened with Meri. This is where it gets incredibly serious. Eson, Gittuan Saitsnini, Maddie has called Meri an abuser. McKelty refuses to talk to Meri and also calls her an abuser. McKelty has explicitly stated she has no relationship with Meri because of how Meri has treated her in the past. Peyton has said that Meri's abuse went way past verbal, and that if some details of what occurred the show wouldn't even be on the air now. Peyton even credited Robyn with saving their lives by coming into the family, implying Robyn stepped in to prevent what Meri was doing. This isn't just strict parenting, as Meri has tried to frame her past behavior. Meri has acknowledged in a series of videos that she was a very strict parent, stating that understanding why makes it so that I don't like to shame myself, not saying that anything is okay, not saying that bad behaviors are okay. She attributes this understanding to therapy, looking back at her childhood and adult experiences. However, critics argue this is a coping mechanism to avoid dealing with the fact of what she's done, as choosing to abuse someone is a choice, and what you experienced as a child does not in any way justify what you do to that child. Meri has largely ignored these specific allegations publicly, instead promoting her Worthy Up community, where she tells people how to be worthy and heal. This has been labeled as hypocritical, as she claims she won't tell others how to grieve or live their lives, yet monetizes a platform that does exactly that. The general feeling is that Meri is nervous about what Christine is going to put in that book. Christine has been very public on the show about McKelty refusing to invite Meri to anything related to her children or herself. There's been a lot of skating around what happened between McKelty and Meri, and fans are hoping Christine's book will be honest about what happened, or at least that it's McKelty's story to tell. Christine, for her part, has tried to be measured about Meri publicly, especially after accidentally outing the ring melting incident. But sources suggest it would be inauthentic for Christine to completely leave her beef with Meri out of the book entirely. This ring-melting incident, where Cody melted down Meri's wedding ring to avoid her having control over me and power over me anymore after Robyn joined the family, was revealed by Christine, leaving Meri majorly upset because it was not Christine's business to tell. This past friction adds another layer to their already complicated dynamic. Christine's book revelations continued. Exploring specific excerpts and themes from Christine's upcoming book, such as conversations with Cody and Robyn, the challenges of raising children on reality TV, Robyn's alleged hypocrisy regarding faith practices, like discussing removing garments despite claiming devoutness. This would also include Christine's insights on Cody's ego, his control over family finances, like the one big check he controlled, and the emotional humiliation she endured, including the nacho story and his lack of attraction. Cody's neglect and the children's voices. Examining how Cody's favoritism led to the neglect of other children, focusing on instances like Gabriel's college graduation being missed and Cody's dismissive get over it response. This part would highlight Gwendolyn's public statements about Cody punishing disobedient wives and children emotionally. The pandemic's breaking point. Analyzing how Cody's strict rules during the pandemic, particularly his refusal to accompany Isabel for surgery, became a major turning point for Christine and Janelle, pushing them to prioritize themselves and their children over Cody's demands. The family unraveling, discussing Christine's decision to leave as the spark that made everything real, Janelle's quiet but powerful shift towards independence, and Meri's struggle with loneliness after years of emotional distance from Cody. Robyn's role and lack of sympathy, a deeper look at how Robyn's tears transitioned from vulnerability to perceived deflection and complicity as she never spoke up against the imbalance or financial disparities. This would include the luggage rack incident, symbolizing the double standard. The impact of TLC. A critical look at how the reality show itself may have contributed to the family's pain and disintegration, turning private struggles into public entertainment. The post-separation dynamic. How Cody's identity as a patriarch crumbled, leaving him isolated with Robyn, and how the other wives found new strength and self-worth outside the plural marriage. Hey Gossip fam, and welcome back to COCO Gossip, the place where we don't just report the news, we uncover the truth hiding in plain sight. For over a decade, we've watched the Brown family. We've seen marriages, births, moves, and spectacular collapses. We were told it was a story about a family trying to make polygamy work in the modern world. But what if I told you that was a lie? What if the entire show, from the moment Robyn entered the picture, was a carefully orchestrated 10-year conspiracy to dismantle the family, not build it? What if Cody and Robyn had a secret plan from the very beginning to end up monogamous, financially secure, and free of the other wives? And what if we had the receipts to prove it? Today, we are diving into one of the biggest cover-ups in reality TV history. We have obtained exclusive access to a series of alleged emails and communications between Robyn and a close confidant starting back in 2000 that lay out their entire strategy. This wasn't a family that fell apart. It was a family that was systematically dismantled from the inside. Before we dive into the first explosive email that started it all, do me a huge favor. If you are ready for the real story, the one TLC didn't want you to see, then smash that like button and hit subscribe right now. Turn on that notification bell because you are not going to want to miss a single second of this. This changes everything. All right, you buckled in? Let's get into it. To understand the plan, we have to go back to the beginning. Season 1. We were introduced to Robyn as a bright-eyed, tearful woman who just wanted a family. She came with 3 kids and over $32,000 in debt from her previous marriage. The official story? Cody fell head over heels and the wives benevolently welcomed her. But our source, a former production assistant who has requested anonymity for fear of legal retaliation from TLC, tells a very different story. They claim Robyn's entry was a calculated business decision. Cody was allegedly tired of the financial and emotional strain of 3 wives who were growing more independent. He wanted a partner who was fully aligned with him, not the family. The source claims Robyn wasn't just in debt, she was facing potential bankruptcy. She saw Cody not just as a spiritual husband, but as a financial life raft. And Cody saw her as his escape route. This is where our first piece of alleged evidence comes in. Alleged email number 1. To confidant's name, redacted. From Robyn S. Date, November 2010. Subject, a new chapter. It's happening. He sees it too. This isn't just about joining a family. It's about building the just us. In the end, let that sink in. This alleged email was sent in November 2010, just months after she spiritually married Cody. The exit pact was already in motion. Her role was to be the compliant, loving wife who would slowly become the center of Cody's universe, making the other wives' positions obsolete. She was the Trojan horse, welcomed inside the gates before anyone realized the danger she posed to their entire way of life. The very next step in the plan was to destabilize the family's foundation. The Lehigh house was the only place the OG3 wives had ever known as a truly integrated family unit. They lived together, their kids grew up together. It was their power base. According to the plan, that had to go. The show told us they fled Lehigh because of a police investigation into bigamy. And while there was an investigation, our source claims the threat was wildly exaggerated by Cody to create a sense of urgency and panic. Why? To force the sale of the Lehigh home and liquidate the OG wives' only significant shared asset. In Vegas, they were forced into 4 separate homes in a cul-de-sac. It was the first time they were truly living separate lives. This physical separation was crucial. It broke down the sister-wife bonds and made each wife dependent on Cody for emotional connection and, more importantly, financial information. He became the gatekeeper of everything. This wasn't a panicked escape. It was a strategic relocation. It isolated his targets and gave Robyn the space she needed to operate without the constant oversight of Meri, Janelle, and Christine. This is perhaps the most brilliant and diabolical part of their alleged decade-long plan, the legal divorce from Meri. On the surface, it was presented as the ultimate act of selflessness. Meri gives up her legal status so Cody can adopt Robyn's children and secure their place in the family. But what did it really do? It legally and financially severed Cody's primary tie to his first family. It transferred all legal power, all decision-making authority for assets, and the title of head wife directly to Robyn. Our source claims the adoption was just the perfect excuse. Cody and Robyn had been discussing the need for a legal reset for years. Alleged email number 2. To confidant's name redacted. From Robyn S. Date, September 2014. Subject, the final piece is falling into place. It's working. M was emotional, but she agreed. She thinks it's about the kids, and it is, but it's also about our future. Kay says this is the only way to protect what we're building, to make sure that when the time comes, there are no legal challenges to what is rightfully ours. It feels cruel, but he reminds me that this is a spiritual battle, and we have to be strategic. The family will be stronger when it's just the ones who are truly loyal. No legal challenges to what is rightfully ours. Chilling. This wasn't about protecting the kids. It was about protecting their assets for the future monogamous life they were planning. Meri was manipulated into signing away her own security, all under the guise of family unity. And once the legal tie was cut, Cody began to emotionally distance himself from her completely. The catfish scandal that followed, our source suggests it was no coincidence. Meri was emotionally abandoned and sought connection elsewhere, which only gave Cody more ammunition to justify pushing her away permanently. It was the perfect trap, and she walked right into it. This is getting intense, right? Let me know in the comments. Did you ever believe the divorce was just about the kids? I'm dying to know what the gossip fam thinks. By 2018, the plan was entering its final phase. Christine was miserable, Meri was an outcast, and Janelle was focused on her kids and her independence. But they still had one thing tying them together, the pooled finances from the Vegas homes. The final step was to drain that capital into an asset that only Cody and Robyn could control. Enter Coyote Pass. Cody sold them a dream of a family compound, one big house, where they could all be together again. But think about it. After years of living separately, why would anyone believe that was a realistic goal? It was a fantasy designed for one purpose, to convince the wives to sell their Vegas homes and pour every last dollar into a plot of undeveloped land. And who benefited? Public records show the land was divided into parcels, but Cody and Robyn's names are on the most valuable plot. the one with the best views and access. The other wives' plots are positioned in less desirable locations. And what happened after they bought it? Nothing. Cody stalled. He refused to build. He claimed there was no money. Of course there was no money. That was the point. The money was now tied up in a liquid land. The wives couldn't access it. They couldn't leave. They were financially trapped. Janelle had to buy an RV. Christine's equity was stuck in the dirt. It was a checkmate. All Cody and Robyn needed now was a final catalyst to execute the purge. And then a global pandemic handed them the perfect weapon. Cody's infamous over-the-top COVID rules were never about health. They were a loyalty test, designed for failure. He created rules so strict that he knew Janelle's and Christine's households, with their independent adult children, could never follow them. It gave him the perfect excuse to completely abandon them physically and emotionally, while spending all his time with his real family, Robyn and her kids. He weaponized a health crisis to complete the emotional and physical separation he'd been engineering for a decade. It was the final push Christine needed to leave. It was the final straw for Janelle. And Meri was already long gone in all but name. The plan, as allegedly laid out in those 2010 communications, was complete. One by one, the other wives were financially, legally, and emotionally pushed to the breaking point until they had no choice but to leave. And Cody and Robyn got exactly what they wanted: a monogamous marriage, a big house on the hill, and the majority of the family's assets. Just us, in the end. And so here we are, the family is shattered. But from the ashes, Christine and Janelle have found freedom and happiness. They escaped the pact. Meri is finally finding her own voice. The only ones left in the kingdom are the king and queen who allegedly planned it all along. The evidence is circumstantial, of course. But when you look at every major decision the family made over the last decade through the lens of this alleged exit pact, it all makes a terrifying amount of sense. The lies, the manipulation, the financial traps, it all points to a long con of epic proportions. What do you think, Gossip Fam? Was it a slow-motion tragedy or a masterful conspiracy? Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments. If you believe the truth needs to come out, please share this video with every Sister Wives fan you know. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss our next investigation. I'm hearing whispers about Meri's secret diaries, and trust me, you're going to want to be here for that. Thanks for watching COCO Gossip. I'll see you in the next one.